Special guest in the building. This is how I want. This is how I imagine me saying this. You ready? St. John has arrived.
Hey.
St. John has arrived. And
just like that.
And I say that because, and this is just the feeling that I get from you.
Mm-hmm.
So just bear with me, because I I'm an artist. I think I look at myself as a DJ. That this is how the vibe that I get from you is that I know you're excited to be where you're at, but I feel like that you already know that you belong. And so that's why I say, like, you've arrived, man. That's how I feel your energy, where, like, if you're in a room doing something with Beyonce, who whatever it is, you belong there too. And it's not like I know you're excited. I'm sure you're excited to a certain degree, but you're there for a reason.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You know, and I feel like that's the feeling I get from you. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you have arrived. And I hope that that's right, man. And I have to say,
thank you.
the first song, so we were playing McDonald's Rich on our station for a while. You did an interview with my homie Jimmy 2 times. And so he put, that was like one of the first songs I heard from you. Actually, a girl hit me up, was like, you got to hear St. John. I was like, yeah. So I heard McDonald's Rich, and I was like, whoa, this is heavy. And then, so when I heard the new album, I was expecting it to be like McDonald's Rich and all this, but it was like this whole other thing. And man, that album is just one of the best albums, I think, this year. Just so because much. Musically, I started to find out more about you. Like, I didn't know you were a songwriter and all that. Most people don't have that journey first. But you arrived. And so tell me how good it feels to have an album like you did, and the way that you express yourself. And it's songs. That's the one thing I like about you, is that you know how to write songs. You know?
Yeah, I care about songs. I care about records.
Right.
How does it feel? I mean, I don't know what day it is, but it feels like whatever today is, and I'm in the middle of this moment right now, and I'm just trying to get to the next one.
Very present, man.
Yeah.
Very present.
In real time, I'm here.
I like that, man. And I like the confidence that, because I think a lot of times, like, younger or new artists, I should say, they're uncertain. And so they are afraid to put themselves out there, because they wrote a song and they got there, and now all their eyes on them, but they don't feel certain about themselves or where they are. You know
right. I guess because if you feel like you got lucky,
right.
A lot of times people think it's, you get luck, it falls out of the sky and you blow up or something like that. Right. I guess that's what probably happens.
Right.
Like anomalies.
Right.
Right. You've seen this before. You've seen one person drop one record and they go to the moon.
Right.
And you start to think that that's the standard, if that's exactly how all great artists are made, and it's just not.
And I think it's funny because you come from New York.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of pressure for artists in there, because, all the dudes that did it before, it's like, it's got to be done this certain way. It's got to be certain. But, like, I really feel like your album, it just shocks me. Like, every song, I'm like, damn, wow, this is a great song. And you're able to, like, say kind of like daily, I don't want to say ratchet things at all, but you're able to tell kind of like things that normal people do, but you're able to put it in a song, and I just think it's so interesting.
Yeah, I add a little poetry to it, but it's ignorant, because I'm ignorant. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from East New York.
Right.
And I don't mean ignorance in a way that I don't have experience or I don't have information. I'm ignorant because I'm brave enough to fail, get up and try it again, and I know the magic's in the failure.
Right.
And I'm still a kid. Like, I'm still going through it. I'm still figuring it out in real time.
Right.
I'm not afraid of that. When you were a child, you make all the mistakes and you're supposed to, because that's where the growth happens. That's the process. Right. I'm there. I'm living in that space.
Right. I love that, man. I love how honest and present you are, and I feel that through your music and the confidence and just the fact that that you stand up against them. I've seen a bunch of interviews where people are like, "Are you mad about the Rihanna?" I'm like, man, that doesn't even
make sense.
It doesn't even make sense. It's like you're standing on with your artist. Like, you got a song with Lenny Kravitz on there. That song is cool, just incredibly beautiful, man. That's
cool.
And what's cool is that you could have sang his part. You know what I'm saying? But just that, first of all, just the who puts Lenny Kravitz on the album, and just that song in general, where it's like, it's sexy, man. It's
definitely sexy.
I don't know who was talking about it recently. Maybe it was you, about sexy male energy that Lenny Kravitz got. That there's something sexy about it, but it's still male. Is that where you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now it's present, because it's hard sometimes. It's hard. It's rare, better yet.
Right.
When you find a male artist that's doing something sexy, and you as a man can acknowledge that's sexy, and it doesn't threaten you in any way about your masculinity,
right.
or how certain you feel about yourself.
Right.
It can be masculine and still sexy and appeal to everybody.
Right.
That's rare. Not too many people had that. Lenny got that.
Being in Minneapolis, Prince, obviously.
Yeah,
Prince
of course.
majorly had that
of
energy
course,
out here.
big time.
And so just seeing, like, when I went to Paisley Park, I'm like, they have like his high heels and shit in the museum, right? But like when he was wearing the high heels, people are like, "Yo, that man got bitches." Do you know what I mean?
Right. He had the baddest. He had the baddest joints ever, and he had on high heels. His heels was probably as high as that. It's just crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. So Brooklyn, man, I was in Brooklyn recently, and I hadn't
what
been
part
there.
of Brooklyn, by the way?
I would say Williamsburg.
All right, cool.
So I hadn't been to Brooklyn in a while. I go to New York often, whether it's to do shows, Wiz or whatever. But I hadn't spent time in Brooklyn, and I was like, oh, it's so magical there.
Yeah, it's
incredible.
a special place.
Tell me about the Brooklyn you grew up in versus like the Brooklyn that we hear in like classic rap records, and how it shaped you differently, or was there a difference, or was kind of the same thing?
My Brooklyn was the same Brooklyn. It was shooting, robbing, selling on the corner. It was the same Brooklyn. I saw the same things everybody else saw.
Right.
It just had to look different to me. Right. Because I came from a couple generations of hustlers.
Right.
And it didn't make sense. None of us made it out.
Right. Well, how do you think you got out though?
Because it didn't make sense. Nobody made it out. Look, if you're looking at examples after examples, countless examples of failure, and you just think you're the rocket scientist.
Right.
Oh, you're gonna get lucky. Right. You're gonna do it exactly how everybody else did it before you, but somehow it's gonna work.
Right. Right.
I knew that wasn't gonna work.
Right. You had to commit yourself to the dream that you wanted.
Absolutely. I knew it. I saw it before me. I saw my uncles, I saw my older brothers, I watched the failure happen. And it didn't make sense. It was a trade-off. Actually, one day I had a conversation with my brother. I don't think I've ever said this. Remember, he was hustling. And I asked him, yo, what you got on you? He told me I got enough on me. I mean, I think the statues, I think it's fine. Anyway, he was like, I got enough on me, and it would cost me this amount of time.
Right.
I said, all right, cool. How much can you make from it, though? He said, I make this much. So I'm giving you an example. It's not literal because, of course.
Right.
Come on, we on the radio. What am I talking about?
Right.
Right? So let's say he said, I got something on me I could go to jail for a year and I could make $20,000. So the upside is 20, the downside is a year. I said, all right, cool.
Right.
That's simple mathematics then, right? I said, cool, if I give you 20 right now, you go sit down for a year for me? He said, absolutely not. I said, but fam, you're making the wrong trade-off.
Wow.
Because the mathematics is off. You're not willing to accept the equation.
Right.
You think you're the exception. And I could always do that math in my head.
Right. And the real risk is doing, I don't want to necessarily say the right thing, but the real risk is, being bigger than yourself and being better, I think.
Yeah, I mean, trying to be great.
It's hard for people to do that.
Trying to be great is an ambitious thing in any sense of the word, right?
Right.
And I don't know that not hustling is better for me. Some people made it out and did something with it or used it as a springboard. Not a lot of people, but there's at least seldom few examples. I just knew that wasn't for me. You could tell when the dirt get under your nails and it don't feel comfortable. You go, that's not gonna work.
Man, what you're speaking on, man, is like, it's bigger than people know, man. So I hope they're paying attention.
I mean, they might miss it, but it's all right. They'll catch you when they come back.
Yeah, they'll find it. I want to know about Ghetto Lenny, man. Where did that come from?
Hey, they just started calling me that overseas. I think they understood I favored Lenny Kravitz and some of his. He's just an iconic person, an iconic human being. So when they saw me, they didn't have anything else to reference.
Right.
I'm out of Brooklyn. I'm out of East New York, Brooklyn, right? I come from rap music. But I look like this, I sound like this, I think like this, and I paint my pictures in a real broad way. They never see, it's not familiar enough. The only other example is Lenny.
Right.
So they call me Ghetto Lenny because they know I was on my hood thing the whole time.
I love it, man. I love it. I like what you said about how, when you were songwriting, that's cool. But I like what you were saying about how you didn't think that you were telling your full story with your voice. Yeah. And I like that because I don't think I've ever heard, when Neo was writing songs before and then Neo came out of artists, it wasn't that, I mean, maybe I never heard it from him, but never heard anyone say it in that way. Did you feel like you were cheating yourself out in that, or just kind of like, no, now it's a time, or was it kind of like, oh shit, I get it now that I'm putting the focus on myself, it's different?
Well, perfection is kind of like doing the right thing at the right time, and then it's perfect. So at the time, writing songs for other people was the springboard, and it was the right thing, and that was the right time to do it. And when the timing felt like it wasn't right, and I was in a position where I was certain enough, where my reach or my opportunity was good enough, strong enough, my base was strong enough that I could then go tell my story for myself, and I knew I was the right character to tell my own story. And I took control of the ship.
Man, you're on your way, man. I put my money on you, man.
I like that. I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah, I mean, I put my money on you.
I would double down on me.
I would too. Just, I mean, the confidence there, the music is there, and you're doing it the right way. Where I'll be honest, you got fans, and they take the time out to tell people about you.
Yeah.
And that, I only run into that a little bit of, like, I know NF had that kind of crazy vibe where his fans would call. But this girl called me out of nowhere. She's from, a friend of mine. She's like, you got to listen to St. John. And so I wanted to ask you, because she actually hit me today, because I was like, I'm going to St. John. Her name is Sam.
Sam, what's up, Sam?
And
Thank you, baby girl.
Hit me up today, and we were talking, and she's going through a relationship. She's
man.
and so I wanted to ask you, because I want to play the clip for her and give her some, give her some wise words, because she's in a relationship. She feels stuck. She feels like there's no connection. She doesn't want to be in the relationship anymore, and she's afraid to break up because she's scared. So what can you tell Sam, who introduced me to you, what can you tell Sam what she needs to do maybe, or what kind of level she needs to be on to get herself out of that place?
Sam, I'm going to give you a little, I can't give you advice because I don't completely understand the position you're in, and I'm never irresponsible enough to think I could advise you without completely sitting in your seat. But I could tell you some tools that I use. So if you're in a situation you don't really want to be in, and you know you don't want to be there, look at the time forward going back. Place yourself in the future going back. It's easier to trace the story that way. Meaning, look at yourself 2 years in the future, project and predict where you're going to be. That's 24 months from where you are today. Is the pain still potent? Leaving him, does it still hurt the same amount? Just think about it. It's 24 months down the line.
Right.
Probably not, right?
Right.
So that tells you can survive this.
Right.
That tells you could be in a happier space.
Right.
Just project yourself in that future, live in that moment, and work your way back from that story. Oh, so I can make it out?
Right.
I could leave then.
How do I get there? If I want to get there, you got to do the work.
You
I always look
absolutely
at
got
a
to do the
simple
work.
way. Like, I lost a lot of weight this year, and I had to, I've been running. People, I can't run. How do you do it? And really, it's language, I think. A lot of people are like, how can you? I don't know. I could. How can you? But I always say, if I want to get that six-pack, I got to do the hard work.
Absolutely.
It's kind of an obvious statement, but it's hard when you're in there. Have you been there before?
Of course.
You talk about the ladies
before.
a lot on your album.
I've been stuck. I had to figure out what this means. They talk about, like, loving yourself. Like, you hear people talk about loving yourself, and you don't know what that means at first. And honestly, I think it takes a really, really, really long time to figure out I love myself.
I think the part that they leave out is you got to exercise that.
Yeah,
because just
practice.
by telling them, like, yo, you got to love yourself. That's it. Like, yo, tell them something that way you can make them more mad, because it's not that easy. You got to exercise.
Self-love is doing things for yourself
that
are important for yourself. Right? This you, there's that machine, like your actual person. You got skin, bones, flesh, needs, desires.
Right.
And then there's the you in your head, the version of you that you really want to be.
Right.
I saw a girl the other day, right? I told her in a simple format. I said, yo, you need to lotion more. As crazy as that sounds.
No.
I said, baby girl, you should lotion more. I said, every day you should get out the shower and you should spend 12 to 15 minutes lotioning your body. That's your time. You can't tell me you love yourself if you can't take the time to moisturize your own body. If you in too much of a hurry to take care of your biggest organ, which is just your skin, that ain't even hard to do. And you can't tell me you love yourself. And that's like step one. I'm doing this because it's important for me. This skin got to feel good. I got to wear it all day.
Right.
This costume going to look good if you're going to see me.
And that's being present. You know what I mean? Because, like, you can't lotion your problems necessarily.
Nah, you can't.
But if you start with yourself, it changes, man.
Yeah.
It's curious. You got me looking through you now, because you got me thinking, man. So I love it, man. I love the energy you have. And even besides the music, man, I just think that it's nice. And, this isn't a conversation about where hip hop is going or whatever, but it's just nice to have people like you, young people, and the substances you carry and the awareness. I think it really is. So I salute you on that, man.
I appreciate you, bro.
I hope, I mean, I know you're going to do big things. You're going to do big things, and you know where you're going. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It feels really good, man. And again, just from seeing it from an artist side, a lot of faster they come, the faster they go, and seeing how, even with my journey with Wiz, like literally seeing him like cushion orange juice and doing all that and being with him during that time. And it's not easy to even go. He's gone on over a decade now.
Nah, he been in it.
He
been in it. Shout out to Wiz. He been in it the whole time. And you got to think that he's in it when people are counting him out, Because the minute you become who you're supposed to be,
People
then the
turn
countdown starts,
Yeah.
and the target's on your back, and they start aiming at you, and they start looking for the holes in the story and the chink in the armor.
Right.
So to survive a decade in the music, in a sport that's this competitive,
Right.
hip hop is the most competitive sport on the planet. They don't care what you did last night. You scored 9,000 points, so what? What you gonna do this morning?
Right.
They don't.
Right.
Like I was talking to one of my managers the other day, and I'm like, yo, DMX supposed to be able to walk into a stadium and it's 30,000 people every time, and it's just his name on the marquee lights.
Right.
And you don't get to see that. Not saying he doesn't move audiences and like bigger scopes,
Right.
but just so you see Bruce Springsteen, you see all of the heroes that don't look like us
Right.
go up and they have a trajectory forever.
Right.
But in hip hop, you could have had tremendous success.
Right.
And 5 years later, you press and reset. That's not cool.
No, that isn't cool. But that's why I think it's interesting that you do have affinity for Lenny Kravitz.
Mm-hmm.
How did that start? Because I think that's important. I feel like to look at cats like him, because he's here forever. You know, his legacy's forever. So what was that? How did that come into your life?
I think he was just brave enough to think different, and I'm drawn to anybody who's bold enough to go in an alternate direction.
Right.
He looked like me.
Right.
Or I look like him, and I don't just mean fave each other and aesthetic. I mean I see another guy coming from a space that I come from.
Right.
And I know it's possible, and he did it in an interesting way.
Right.
I mean, it's brave to say I'm sexy and then be sexy.
Mm-hmm.
In a place that's as aggressive as New York,
Right.
in a culture that's as aggressive as black music.
Right.
That's brave.
Right. That's cool, man. I respect it too. I could talk to you forever about this, but let's talk about the tour and the show. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You sold out the show tonight.
I
You're
sold
in
out the show
Minneapolis.
tonight.
Have you been to
Nah,
Minneapolis
it's my
ever
first
before?
time.
First time. What do you
Yeah.
know about Minneapolis?
I
at
don't
all?
know nothing about Minneapolis. I hope the strip club is popping. I hope I get, listen, at the very least, somebody got to show me their titties tonight while I'm on stage. At the very least.
It's going down tonight. Fine Line. The show is sold out. But if you've never heard of St. John, I suggest that you check him out. Check his catalog out. The collections, that whole thing was a
Absolutely.
banger. The new album's a banger. The Meek Mill joint's a banger. Matter of fact, I want to play the joint with you and Lil Baby right now. Can we do that?
Yeah, let's play that. Want me to introduce it? Let me introduce it.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. I want you to, go radio. I need you to put your radio hat on, man.
Listen,
Go ahead.
You right now tune in to St. John. This is Go Radio 95.3. You about to hear Trap featuring me and Lil Baby. Tonight is the Ignorant Forever Tour. This is the Ignorant Forever Tour, Minneapolis style. Are you ready? You about to hear Trap. You hear that sexy voice? You heard that shit? It got sexy, huh?
Perfect.